Cybernation Uncensored.
Hello everyone. Just confirming that OBS didn't screw up my settings. Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Forlorn Dopes. I am your host, Cybersmiley.
I'm your co-host, Wisdom. We're just going to be chatting today. We don't have any guests, so it's just going to be me and Cybersmiley.
And it's been a while since we caught up.
Yeah, we've got a lot to catch up to, both in terms of the franchise and in just Cyberpunk in general.
Yeah. So start off with what we've missed. There's been 4 DLCs out since had the chance to actually any of them. The first DLC from Artalsorian was So You Missed Gen Con Scenarios. It is a downloadable adventures. So those people are looking to get into Cyberpunk. This is the scenarios you can run and because they're made for cons, they are 4 hours in length. So they're nice.
Yep.
The other that was August. September was single player mode plus DLC.
That's my favorite of all the DLCs to come out. Just
because you love charts?
No, because I love the idea of being able to play Cyberpunk by myself. Since scheduling groups is just become a Herculean task.
No. A friend of mine tried to come back being in another state, and he's one state over, but we've been trying to get a gaming group. That's been so
yeah, I can imagine.
But then again, I'm lucky for having 2 in-person player groups. One is for Call of Cthulhu, the for Cyberpunk on the alternate. So yes, I'm blessed, but that's on a Tuesday, so it's not a lot of people have anything to do on a Tuesday, so they decided to join me and play some Cyberpunk. Anyways, October's DLC was Segatari, the games, to give a little more flavor into your campaigns.
Throw some video game consoles into your mix.
Yeah,
everybody loves a little bit of flavor.
Well, the other thing is, games, you can actually be competitive and cause damage to players if you get hooked into it, which might be a requirement to or an obstacle that the players have to face to be able to get into, maybe a juvie gang, right? Has some information or an item that the group might need, and they have to go against their star player, as it were.
First time I ever saw video games damaging the players was in the non-Eon Productions James Bond movie Never Say Never Again.
Yep. Yeah.
I liked it there too.
And then the most recent one is a checklist for all the products of Altorsarian. So similar to your chart that you have for the 2020 stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is necessary, and because there's a lot now, especially when you add in all the DLC products and stuff like that. There is a lot to keep track of. Um, I wish every game company did this, and they've promised that it's going to be a living document that's going to be updated, just like their night market stuff.
Yeah.
So you'll stay up to date on your list.
Yeah, I wish they would be able to create a web page instead of a download, so that way, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about
Yeah, you just go to a site and you don't have to download it, then open it, and et cetera, et cetera. But neither here
I
nor
mean,
there.
who knows if the I don't know how your saved information from one PDF is going to transfer to a new PDF. Like, I don't know how that would work, or do you just have to go manually through that? Because that would suck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, depending upon where you host it, right? So, I'm not talking about writing your code for a website, but there are options out there, and you'd have to buy a product that would allow you to show a list and then have the functions and features to export it to PDF or a spreadsheet or do filtering, right? And sorting type of behavior. So that way you can get to the information you need quickly. But again, those are all
Uh,
the free DLCs, so I can't complain. It's free.
Lord Jesus Crust asks, since we covered the starter set for the Shadow Scar core book is out now, he wants to know if we're planning on covering it. We would love to cover it with the Kickstarter, or not the Kick, with the starter set. They sent us copies, so we were able to look at it and give it a full review. However, the review was late because it's just the way the show is structured. If we've got interviews, the interviews take precedence over pretty much everything else.
Yep.
Um, and every
But
time it
yes,
seems that they give us a book, we've got some interview going down that week.
yeah.
Uh, we might need to start doing more pre-recorded shows
Yeah.
just to.
And we've asked to have Cody on, but again, it's all
Yeah,
their scheduling, and right now, our
they are
Talsorian
some
is
busy dudes.
yes, they got a few products for Cyberpunk coming out again. Shadow Scar now that it's finished, and by the way, Shadow Scar made over twice their asking price. So that
Yeah.
is
Well,
that's that is a good thing because there's a lot of
yeah, it's
Kickstarters
fantastic.
that do not even break, even.
Yeah,
So
and
kudos on
Cody
that.
had put his heart and soul into this book, so it's good to see it paying off for him.
Yes. But yeah, once I get the book in my hands, I will give you kind of my feed on it. But yeah, speaking of other Kickstarters, the Cyberpunk Legends Kickstarter hit.
Well, we had them on the show uh, 2 months ago.
Yeah, Mr. James Portnow.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a good interview. We very much liked what we heard him say about his product, this new card game. It's not collectible; it's just its own product. It's so you're not constantly wrestling with like a bunch of freaking bullshit packs of cards, getting 80 of the same one before you get the one you're looking for. No, it's a standalone game. It's uh, we haven't played it yet, but it looks fantastic. I've
yep.
watched a couple of the uh, you know what I'm talking about, the plays.
Yes.
Yeah, playthroughs of it, and it looks fun as hell.
Yeah.
You'll have to forgive me, folks. I have been dealing with insurance all day today, and my headspace is kind of twirling.
Yeah. Well.
Here, you got me.
Yeah. We'll catch you up to speed. But yeah, they did stellar, and and this is my criticism of some of the Kickstarters and other um, fun projects that crowdfunded projects that have been recently for Cyberpunk, like the Cyberpunk 2077 board game, is that CDPR seems to give coverage to both products, and they did fabulous. But things, for example, like Combat Zone or Combat Zone Cyberpunk Red, never got coverage, even though Monster Fight
CDPR
Club.
doesn't really cover any of the red stuff at all.
Yeah, but but they worked with Monster Fight Club on the graphics and for the Edgerunner supplement. You would think.
Oh, definitely.
The Edgerunner supplement.
You'd think that some of that would carry over, yeah.
They would, give them a bump, but no bump from them. And then there was also
I mean, franchise is franchise. Every little bit helps.
And Simon, right? Their Kickstarter did well, but not as fantastic as the latest Cyberpunk board game that came out, which I think they made like $5 million, maybe more, something crazy.
I mean,
and Simon barely made like a quarter of $1 million.
Not really, but
yeah. So,
I mean, they're just so damn expensive, and I get it. They're high quality. They're probably worth every penny of it. But I don't know.
I will not buy, because I probably should have just pulled my bid on that Cyberpunk board game, because those guys were nefarious. I mean, at the beginning of the campaign, they're like, okay, this is the all-in. 2 weeks before the campaign ends. No, we got the all-in. And then, a week before, wait, we got the all-in plus. And then 2 days before, hey, we got the super ultimate all-in. And if you buy this, then you'll get this little thing playing on your FOMO. And that pissed me off.
Yeah, that's some underhanded business practices right there. Or at least shady. Like, it may not be underhanded, like it's perfectly legal and all that, but it's not cool by any stretch.
Because you're playing with FOMO, right? And
yeah,
it is definitely a driving factor in a lot of people's wanting to purchase. But well,
I mean, plus, like, when a Kickstarter starts, the all-in should be the all-in, and then anything else that comes should just be added as like bonus material. That we got funded this far, it's great. We had this many people buy it, so here we're gonna throw some extra toys your way. Like, that's the way it should be done.
Yeah, or it's an add-on, not necessarily you have to buy everything to get this special thing if you buy everything.
Yeah, this one-time limited release. If you don't get it now, fuck you. Bullshit. I can't support that either. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't support that.
Yeah, but the miniatures look cool.
The miniatures do look cool, but they're I mean, it's expensive. Just the base game is expensive. Like, what did it come to at the end? Like $400?
Oh yeah, like the ultimate all-in was like $900.
Oh yeah, there we go. Like, who the fuck can afford that?
It was just
who can afford that on a board game?
Yeah, it was a crazy amount. Well, if you're in the miniatures, talk to some Warhammer.
If you're into miniatures,
players, and how much
I don't mean to. I don't necessarily mean to disparage anybody creating products in the franchise, but I said what I said, and I stand by what I said.
There you go. Yeah, so kudos on Cody and his the Kickstarter, as well as Cyberpunk. Other things in news. The only thing that came out that I think is prominent for Cyberpunk would be Tron Ares. I have yet to see it, just because I rather spend my money on miniatures than go out to the movies. So
I want to see it. I haven't made it out yet.
another thing is it's
Or-
Disney, so that means you got to buy a Disney subscription or pay. Either way.
I'm not if you're going to the theater.
Well, is it still in the theater?
I don't know if it's still in the theater, but that's where I would definitely want to see it. I saw the. I love Tron. I've loved Tron since the original movie. I saw it in the theaters as a small child, and man, was it the coolest thing ever. It just came out at that magical time in the early 80s where science fiction just really could do no wrong in my book. I mean, even the stuff that was cheesy was awesome, like Flash Gordon. Uh, hell, Tron like revolutionized stuff. Like I don't know, it's hard to tell people how influential it is or it was when at the same time you've got all these people who to this day dog the movie. I think it was the coolest live action movie Disney ever did. Well, it Condor Man, so that shows you where my tastes lie. And Black Hole and Dragon Slayer, like, but yeah, early '80s Disney was kick ass. It's not the same as Disney after like 1990.
So it looks like Tron is still in the theaters. At least some theaters.
Excellent. I will try and go see that probably this weekend.
According to AMC. So yeah, that's the only thing I think kind of the cyberpunk-esque that is out there.
The new Total Recall, or not Total Recall, Running Man hasn't. I don't think that's hit yet. So
No, but it's coming.
it's coming. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, The Long Walk, like we said, is a dystopian type of setting. Not
Yeah,
necessarily cyberpunk. Although I could see something in cyberpunk Midwest.
The novel definitely had some cyberpunk undertones, and it's definitely dystopian. You could definitely see this happening in like, I could see it happening in like 2020 Texas, where they're just, I don't know, Texas is barbaric.
Yeah. You Zeros want some money? Well, you're gonna have to walk for it.
Giant open courtyards with machine gun mounts on the walls, just exposed to the elements and all that. Like, fuck Texas. In 2020, of course. So yeah, I enjoyed The Long Walk. The Long Walk is my favorite Stephen King story of all time. I read the Bachman books back in the 80s. I want to say 1989 is when I first read it. And all the Bachman books, like, they're at the top of my list. There's The Running Man, there's Rage, there's Street Work, and the other one always eludes me. The other one, the fourth one.
Yeah, so you have The Running Man, that's coming out. So Neuromancer, I think, has stopped filming because I've seen the main actor, Callum, is that his name? Callum?
I don't know. I'm not looking. I don't seek anything out about it. I am so very excited that it's coming that I want to be surprised by everything in it.
If it actually comes out.
If it actually comes out, like I started out with like I'm not gonna get excited. I'm not gonna get excited until I know it's coming out. But as these things do, I do get excited. I do hear little small tidbits that have me going, "Ooh, that sounds awesome!" But now they're gonna get my hopes up, and then they're gonna say, "Well, it's just going into development hell, and it'll never see." It's like Batgirl; it'll just never come out.
Right. Yeah, because I've seen so the actor's name is Callum Turner, and he's other things. Having a relationship with some They constantly give a shit about it, but to me that tells me not in Tokyo where they were shooting it. My hope is that they are now in post production. Damn near. I am subscription to Apple TV. I think is where it's going to be shown. And then
I got a friend who's got Apple. I'm gonna have to go camp out on this couch for a while.
Yeah, because there's other things that are on. Again, IMDb. Yeah. Prize or what? But
yeah, I mean, it would be really weird to leave him out because he is such an important part of not only Neuromancer but like all the other stuff that comes after
the Sprawl trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Complaint.
Oh, they'll do that all the time.
Well, he's old and senile. He's almost 19.
Oh, damn, that is an old kitty. You give him some lovin's.
Yeah. I always give.
Well, yeah. He's cat. That's what they do. Now on the small screen, we've gotten some Cyberpunk stuff out, or at least Cyberpunk adjacent stuff. There was a as odd as it is to say, there was a Splinter Cell series that they just released. Now I don't know how Splinter Cell gets a series. Like they haven't had a Splinter Cell game since the mid '90s. But the series, the anime series, I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list. I just had to finish some other stuff first. But yeah, Splinter Cell, it looks pretty damn good. I haven't heard anybody talking about it either. So you never know, but
Other adjacent, I think we were mentioning was Alien Earth.
Yeah, a lot of people complained about it. I can see why they complained. I personally really liked it. I hate the idea that it takes place before Alien. Like that just is idiotic to me. I don't know. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. I don't know if that was like Ridley Scott, like worming his way in there just to ruin the franchise again. Which is weird to say, but he does it with everything he creates. Anytime he goes back to any of his franchises, he just shits all over it. Blade Runner, Aliens, Gladiator. Jesus, did you see that train wreck?
The recent one? No.
Yeah, don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. As much as I love everybody who's in that movie, it was crap.
Yeah, that's the thing about is it going to be good?
Well, I don't understand how anyone can crap all over their own legacy so consistently. Like, I mean, Ridley Scott has made he made my favorite movie of all time, and he's made some of my other favorite movies, but then he goes back and he wants to add to them. Which is at the most frustrating when other people have already added to them better than he did. Like Aliens is a better movie than Alien. It's definitely more rewatchable. Alien is a good horror story in space. It is a slasher movie in space. Aliens, man, that's like Platoon in space. It's just a more fun movie to watch.
I liked Aliens 3, and I know it got a lot.
I liked Aliens 3. Hell, I liked Aliens 4. I liked the.
Oof.
I don't necessarily like the story, but I loved the characters. I love the space pirate dudes that come in and.
Works.
Yeah, they're just fucking awesome. Like Ron Perlman, that may be he was perfect in that, and everybody else who was part of that little pirate crew was just awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, but that's my thing though. Is I go into certain movies that like even though if the movie itself is bad, if there's something I can mine from it for ideas, it becomes an enjoyable watch to me no matter what. Like Waterworld. Waterworld is a horrible, dumb fucking movie by any stretch of the imagination. But Mad Max jet skis are cool as fuck.
Ideas for a water nomad.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of my first articles is throwing the watercraft from Waterworld into my Los Angeles thing, Los Angeles setting where it's Jesus. I wrote that in the '90s, I think.
Long time.
If not the yeah, no, it was in the '90s because I was working as a video editor at the time, and I actually used the equipment at my work to get the screenshots because, well, I mean, DVDs weren't a thing yet.
Right. Damn, it used to be.
Oh man, that's a long time ago. Jesus. It's weird to think that this futuristic game is I've been playing over half my life.
Yeah, but
And I'm
fun.
old.
It's a way to pass the time.
It is. It's a way to ignore the years that go by.
And it's less abusive to your body. Heroin.
Yeah. Costs about the same, but or can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lately you can. Yeah, so
Yeah.
the other things that came out were from Dark Horse. So Psycho Squad, that 4-issue series is completed.
Wrapped up beautifully.
Yet to get that series, so that is on my want list.
I'm telling you, it's my favorite one of the whole of the bunch.
Really? You have my word. To me,
you have my word is still fantastic. But
Psycho hard Squad to beat.
Is what I wanted from Cyberpunk comics. I want some hardcore action with a story that could come from like a Michael Mann film.
Okay. All right. Good. And then they also announced Cyberpunk Chrome that's supposed to come out in January.
Yeah.
So they have not stopped publishing those. So you're looking for some Cyberpunk content? There it is. I don't know if there's any novels on the way. I would love to have.
Yeah, I don't know how the one novel did that they've put out. I have yet to get a hold of it, just because every time I'm out and about, I don't hit the bookstore. I should. In fact, I very much need to. I may do that this weekend as well.
Yeah, Lord Jesus. I am not a fan of Shadowrun. I know it is a cyberpunk adjacent, but I don't know. I don't like elves in my cyberpunk.
I wanted to play the Shadowrun games because they're cyberpunk adjacent, but the whole one for a game that basically looks like a PlayStation 2, like it would have been, I don't know, the whole top down isometric view just bugs the shit out of me. I've never liked it. I get it. I get why it's a thing. When Gauntlet first came out, everybody loved it because it was as good as that was as that genre was going to get, and that view was necessary. But in this day and age, a game that's not completely 3D just doesn't really interest me. If I can't walk around that world, I don't really care. Um,
Isn't it kind of like Diablo?
uh, I I don't know. I've never played Diablo.
Oh.
I know that damns me. Now I say that, but I really did enjoy the Descent. So I've been looking to give the Shadowrun games a chance just because I enjoyed Descent so much, and because it does like tie into my love of Gauntlet. Like back in the '80s, I fucking loved Gauntlet. It was one of the first like cooperative adventure games you could play with your friends. That I don't know. Yeah. So I want to play them. I haven't. I've never played any of the Shadowrun games. The original Shadowrun game for what was it? Was it Sega or Nintendo? I don't know. It was a long
Sega.
ass time. I really wanted to play that when it came out, but then my Genesis like shat itself to death, and by the time I got a new Genesis, it just really wasn't circulating anymore. Like I had completely forgotten about it. It wasn't on my radar. Uh, I don't know. I would like to play them just because they're cyberpunk adjacent and the graphics look cool. Uh,
Yep.
I just went on a great big long tangent just to come circle around and say, yeah, I want to play them.
Yeah. So speaking of computer games, Cyberpunk 2077 is in production. I saw they posted a job listing on Blue Sky, so they're still hiring people. So
Mm-hmm.
they're starting to ramp up production quite a bit, which to me tells me that it's going to be 3 to 4 years that we'll
At
start
minimum.
hearing about it. Yeah. Um, which is nice. Well, I don't know, right? Because 2077, they had to reconfigure the engine, right? Whereas this time they don't. They just have to be able to work with the engine
Well,
that already
I mean,
exists.
they're using a different engine completely, so they're
Right.
basically having to start from scratch.
They're not
I
starting from
don't know.
scratch, right? They don't have to build any of the physics, so they can spend more times in developing the look and feel, right? And I think,
Sure.
and a lot of what I'm sure they did for the new Witcher is explore what can be done with that engine for Cyberpunk, right? I'm sure they had some teetering and some learning experience from that. Now it's hiring the hands to do the work. And I have a feeling the more hands they have, the quicker it might get done.
I'm
Uh,
wondering what disaster, natural or man-made, they're gonna come up with to because they're gonna have to rebuild the city from scratch. Like you can't argue that. Like they're moving to a different engine completely. I don't know if any of those assets that make up the city of Cyberpunk 2077 are going to be able to be used with the Unreal Engine.
well, they're
If
just
not, like
the objects, right, are still going to be there. The assets are still going to be there. The conversion of those assets into because there is, meshes and 3D objects, right, are basically vector based. So it's all vectors in the system.
you think they'll just be able to transport the map as is into Unreal? I don't know anything about
Okay.
programming,
I
especially on that level.
Right.
So
So my thinking is that they will be able to import it and then have to tweak it, right? So there's probably some physics effects, right? So the objects themselves, they can. The physics for those objects probably are going to need some tweaking or some applying of the new engine's way
hmm.
of doing things. Now, like I said, they've already been experimenting for the past 5 years with The Witcher. Um, so I have a good feeling that this
Yeah, but none of
game.
the Witcher maps look the same. Like they're all like
Mm,
the city in one Witcher map is not. I don't even know if you can go to the same cities. I haven't.
right, but
I've only ever played it on PlayStation, but
what I'm saying is they have the expertise now to work with that engine versus Cyberpunk 2077. They
where they
didn't
build them from
have,
scratch.
yeah, they didn't have the engine. They didn't have gun physics. They didn't have car physics. They didn't
I don't know
have.
how gun physics could have been that much more difficult than arrow physics. I
Did you
don't.
see the aero physics in Witcher?
I
Right?
mean, they weren't fantastic, but
They were horrible. I
shooty
don't know
thing go bang.
if you ever
Like,
tried using the crossbow in Witcher 3. Oh, God bless
oh
you
no,
if you
it
could
was a
hit things.
nightmare. I mean, there are many reasons I never finished Witcher 3, and that's part of it. Like, mm. But that all just let's not go down that road because then I'll just get mad and angry and
Right.
rant again about why there wasn't a third person view for Cyberpunk.
So
Mm.
so what I'm saying is that you know they were building all this new game mechanics and game physics that were being tested as they developed, as opposed to
Yeah,
an engine that already has them all, and all you have to do is learn how to use them, right, and then script them. So I have a feeling that it's going to go a lot quicker from a development point of view. We're producing a better product at the end. Now, of course, they've also learned their lesson not to give any due dates until, 6 months ahead of time when they know they're definitely going to release it because they don't want to have egg on their face again. And the other great thing is because they're two separate teams, they're going to keep on churning out. Like they said, they want to produce a game every 3 years, every 2 years, um, for each product line. So I think they will start producing a lot quicker and know that they can, right?
yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna remain hopeful no matter what. Like, I'll be happy. Uh, as long as the Nomad class is not forgotten, I'll be happy. As long as there's still some representation of the wasteland. Uh, yeah, that's all I ask.
Yeah. Um. So tonight, we don't have. We didn't really plan on too much. We were trying to get some people to interview for tonight, so we didn't back up. But so I will be starting a new cop campaign, starting next year with my in-person group. So I think what we can talk about tonight is kind of ideas of how to form a cop campaign, and at least give you the preliminary steps that I've been doing to get my cop campaign going. Unless you have anything else you want to quickly pitch or have.
I mean, I'll just remind people that Data Fortress got updated.
There you go. Big update.
Now almost 13,000 files in the archive. And actually, if you break open some of those PDFs, it goes way above that. But or not PDFs,
Zips.
zip files. Yeah. So yeah, that's the only thing I have to update. Other than that, I love talking cop campaigns. You shit. I may not be much of a fan in real life, but in game terms, cops are awesome.
Yeah, so what I've done so far, right, is I actually uh, took from Cyberpunk Red, and this is going to be 2020 rule set, just because my prefer it. We have tried to play Red, and it didn't like the system. They preferred 2020, so I'm not going to force down their throat something that they don't want to play. Because it's tough enough. I have to come up with a with a campaign for them.
Hmm.
So so what I've done so far is I took the beat chart and started to plan out the 3 acts of the campaign using the beat chart, and coming up with
I love it. Chart.
yeah. So this is a cop campaign, so it's kind of a murder mystery. So the team's going to assemble, and campaign's going to start with a murder. And some of my players do listen to this, so I'm not going to give too much away, other than what I've already told them. And what's going to happen eventually is they are all going to be added to a task force to uncover the mystery, as it were. And then from there, various things are going to happen. And
Not to watch this episode, but we need all the viewers we can get.
yeah, listeners.
Listeners, yeah.
Yeah, they listen to the podcast. So that's kind of where I'm doing it, and basically taking the beat chart, using the various elements to kind of form a loose collection of more or less events and scenes, right? So during a murder mystery, right, you're always going to have to interview witnesses or relatives or other people of interest, right? So those kind of scenes are happening, and then there's also other events that happen, right? Other crimes that might be connected with the main plot, or they have a reason to be interested in investigating one of these other crime scenes, in which they get more clues, right? So I'm trying to do kind of like, because like I said, I'm doing 3 acts, and each act is kind of, or the end of each act is going to reveal a deeper intrigue to the whole campaign, whereas the third act is going to be the revelation of who's really behind all this, and what's going to, how the players are going to have to try to overcome and work to achieve the goal to prevent or stop or expose the true overarching mystery. So that's kind of where I'm at. And for planning, right, is of course I gave my players, these are the roles and careers that you can choose from, and made sure that you're not choosing anything that's going to be contrary to the purpose of this campaign. And even before I came up with the campaign, I was floating two campaign ideas, because I wasn't really vested in any yet, and pitched 2 of them, and of course they chose the cop campaign. The other one was going to be a nomad campaign. But apparently my players would rather have a bed to sleep under and a city to live in.
Yeah.
Being on the open roads.
I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make the fucker get to cyber leg when you want him to.
Right. So start off the campaign. Of course, I'm creating the various character rules. So especially with 2020, those who are new to 2020, you definitely want to have some restrictions on what players can and cannot do when creating their characters. For example, my characters can only have one skill in total that can be above 6. Every other skill has to be below 6, or 6 or below. That kind of requirement allows the players to use those skills and grow in those skills, versus having 4 skills at 10 using their career skills. Also, I set the specific number of pickup skills they can get. So instead of relying on intelligence and reflex, it's nope, everyone gets the same amount no matter what your stats are. And And the stats, of course, are point based. I'm not going to have them roll them. So I'm giving them 55 points, which is roughly around level 6 spread out amongst all their stats. And again, I also put a limit on you can only have one stat that is above 8. Uh, so that way they're
That's
not.
still pretty high.
Yeah, well, one stat, right? So that way it prevents people from, you know, always having 10 intelligence, 10 reflex, 10 body, right? And of course, the minimum of a stat is 2. So yeah, they can also.
I don't limit stats in my games. I limit starting skills, but I don't limit stats themselves.
Okay.
Just because I mean, every action movie you've ever seen, the dude's got superhuman reflexes, or you're dealing with somebody with like super strong. Like I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to
I don't
play.
mind it. If players want to impose those restrictions on themselves, that's fine. But I personally, I do what you do. I give a set amount of stat points, and then they can spend those however they want, as long as there's at least one. And I let them know that if their stat is below 3, they are handicapped. They are they are getting the placard for parking. They're getting a nice parking space. They're yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing with stats and skills. Starting money, because they are government employees. They're not going to have too much starting money for equipment. However, they are going to have issued gear, right? So taking from protect and serve, you know, they'll have a choice. The Constitution Arms revolver that's in there, right, is a standard issue, but I'm also allowing them to have different types of sidearms as needed. And, you know, detectives aren't going to um, have the gear that a patrol person is going to have on hand, etc. So their gear is kind of be starting off with that. And then for cyber, this is something that another GM had. You can't have Cyberpunk without cyber. So I give the starting players 2K and Chrome. The people treat a PC that dumps luck. Oh, so luck. So in my games with luck is important, right? Luck is very important because not only can you use the points to modify rolls, my luck system that I have on my site I use, which means they can buy an automatic crit for 5 points. They can re-roll a 1 for 3 points. And that's after the roll. And then and then of course they can use points, right, to modify a die. So that's kind of important, but I also make them have a test on luck, right? So and I know other GMs do this, and I've mentioned this in the community that, do I have this item? Well, make a luck roll. Well, I also do, you know, make a luck roll. Yeah, make a luck roll to see if, the floor will give way. Make a luck roll if you're trying to avoid somebody in the city, right? And if you even look at the fixer contact rules, you have to make luck rolls to contact people. So if you're doing a dump step as luck, you're basically going to get screwed. So luck is not really a dump stat in my games. One of my players do use as a dump stat, but he continues to suffer, and he'll still make it a dump stat, and he has caused problems for the party, problems for himself as a character. But he's like, oh no, I can roll better. That's up to him. I'm not I'm not treating them with gloves, kid gloves, to deal with statements that I make prior to it and saying, hey, you should not do this, and he does it anyways, just like with any of my so yeah, so that's kind of the thing is all stats are kind of important. Now, attractiveness often is also a dump stat because you can buy attractiveness for like 100 EB per point increase.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
it's ridiculously cheap. I don't know. I avoided the luck dump stat problem by not including it in the like. That's not part of uh, the skill points that I give out or the stat points. They you don't use them on luck. Luck is then after the stat points are spent. Luck is in front of the GM.
Yeah.
And whatever you roll, that's just what you get for luck.
Yeah.
So that kills the using it as a dump stat part, which is always a pain because
Yeah.
luck is ridiculously useful.
Yes.
Attractiveness, I don't know. I raised the prices. I raised the prices on most of the health stuff in my game. Like,
Yeah, I'm thinking of like house ruling that for attractiveness, if you want to go from like a 9 to a 10, you have to spend 10 times,
yeah,
the cost instead of just it's a flat rate of going up 1 point cost 100. Now it's if you want to go from a 9 to a 10, it's going to be 10,000
is times 10. Yeah.
Because you're trying to look prettier than a 9. It's going to cost a lot of money to make that happen. So
I mean, there are very, very few people that I would say are a 10 attractiveness. There's Morena Baccarin.
And again, attractiveness is also a personal preference, right? So
yeah, it is completely in the eye of the beholder. No two people are going to agree completely on who is what.
But yeah, also give the players an option to be a full Borg. However, the rules for that are a little different. Because they are starting with stats for reflex, body, move, and that's it. So for those 3 stats, so they now have less stats, so that means they have less stat points, and they have to pump their empathy up to be able to have at least a 2 empathy in order for them to run. So there's a good chance they have to have an empathy of 10, so that means they're already sinking all their stat points into empathy to be able to be a full Borg, which, because full Borgs have a larger advantage compared to the regular players, that kind of helps. Also, they will start off with less skill points as well, just because full Borgs, as I said, start off with a major advantage. I don't know if any of my players went down that path because it basically kind of cobbled full Borgs and their usefulness. So we'll see.
I don't know about limiting their skills.
It's more so that's more game mechanic, not world logic.
Okay, that makes yeah. Okay.
Right.
I've run lots of cap campaigns. There have been full Borgs in my game as players. It can change the dynamic only insofar as combat, really. But like my best cop campaigns, even when they're playing like C-SWAT, they're still pretty light on combat. Most of it is spent in investigation.
Yeah.
Um, when combat does go down, it's usually pretty quick and dirty. C-SWAT tends to attack in overwhelming force.
With big weapons.
Although there have been times when it's been like scenes out of Bubblegum Crisis or 80 Police where the cops are just getting slaughtered left and right. Like sometimes that happens too. Sometimes that full board on the construction site goes absolutely apeshit and gets his hands on a minigun. These things happen. It's Night City.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are kind of the rules I'm setting up. So set the expectation, and of course, like I said, they're going to have issued stuff. They're all going to start off with an apartment. They're not going to have a lot of starting funds.
Right.
Just because they're already getting a lot of gear. And they can always request more, right? Even Protect and Serve said, hey, you can even sleep in the barracks at the precinct.
Yeah, and like you said, all your equipment as a cop is basically free. Like your gun, your freaking like any of your weapons, your standard issue gear. Like that's why for both my Cyberpunk games and Interlock Unlimited, I created character sheets specifically for police with that shit already listed on it because you just get it as a cop.
Right. Yeah, so, and then the last thing I did was I took the NPC profiles that were in Protect and Serve, and, for example, like Patrolman, C-SWAT, Internal Investigator, Investigator Forensic, and created sub-roles for the cops. So that way the skill packages reflect those specialties, right?
Yeah, I mean, because yeah, a cop is being a police officer is a job. In that job, I mean, there's patrol cops, which are the standard cops. There's detectives, which that's a role in and of itself. If you're on a SWAT or SPAR team, you're a solo. Coming up with all the sub roles using either Red or 2020. I haven't asked. Are you doing this with Red or 2020?
2020. I mentioned that earlier because my players did not like Red.
No, I missed it. I don't know. It leads into why I created Interlock Unlimited in the first place. Because treating cop like all cops are the same just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't reflect any kind of reality that anybody's ever experienced.
Yeah, and also I'm getting rid of the expert law skill as kind of a skill that's throughout Protect and Serve. To me, authority should cover that as a skill. So I just wrapped it up into authority. So that's kind of like the basis of the starting of the campaign and the characters. So that's kind of where I've gotten so far with them. And then of course now you have to think about the level of campaign that you want to run from a cop. And like you said, you've done C-SWAT.
Oh yeah.
And so give me some tales of the great adventures.
Actually, my longest running cop campaign that involved more than one person, more than one player, was based around a C-SWAT squad, 6-man team. There were 2 Borgs on it. And basically, in my games, C-SWAT isn't just SWAT. Like they're not just there to show up for the big combats. They investigate all cybernetic crime. They're just another division like Vice or Narcotics. It's the cyber crimes division, except cybernetic crimes, not internet stuff. So most of the game was spent on investigating stuff. In particular, there was a long campaign where they were tracking down a serial killer. And through this, it led through different gang territories and things of that nature. So when there was combat, like I said, it was, unless there were a couple of times where they were taken by surprise, just during the course of the investigation. But most of the combat was overwhelming force. The times when they were taken by surprise, it got really hairy really fast. But as far as the actual game, it was mostly, like most of my cop games, mostly centered around investigation. With the serial killer. Okay, here's the deal with the serial killer. The serial killer was a full conversion. I'm not going to get into like his motivations or any of that, but his gimmick is he would drain the blood of his victims, and like infuse it into his own body. So when he got it, if anybody ever shot him or damaged him, the blood would be identified as one of the former victims, which was just driving everybody crazy. It led him to believe that there was more than one person, and they started finding the victims. Yeah.
Nice.
It was, he was a Gemini full conversion that just went apeshit. And that campaign lasted. It was in the background of not only that game, but several other games, as like, the serial killer has struck again type news reels, and media had given him different names, Night City Slasher, blah, blah, blah.
Did you base it off of Split Second?
No, although I love that movie. Actually that might have been like a subconscious influence. That might very well have been. I don't remember thinking about it at the time, but it would have been it would have been in the mid '90s when I was running this game, so it's very possible. I had forgotten that was even an element of Split Second until you just now mentioned it. So
I'm like, well, this is an alien. Bulborgs are like superhuman type of creatures.
I mean, every time I think of Split Second, I think of how awesome the movie was and how they ruined it by having it be like a weird alien demon.
Yeah.
It just made
should have gone with a cyborg.
They should have gone with a cyborg or just a serial killer or something like that. A weird, like Giger-esque alien type demon it just kind of ruined the movie for me. Or at least it lessened it. What could have been epic cyberpunk turned into cyberpunk adjacent. But yeah, no, I hadn't thought about that. I've seen the movie a couple of times since, and I forgot that was a plot element of Split Second.
Right. So, what do you think are some of the key?
Mostly I just remember
key elements
bigger guns
in a cop game, right? We talk about investigation, and
everybody's whatever reason you're doing anything, like you said, you're building a squad based around these characters. It's got to be consistent and it's got to be uniform. The better, regardless of who's making up the team, the better your sources of inspiration, the better you're going to have ideas to draw from, especially as far as like the procedural stuff. Like we can all make up stories, but like actually how cops operate and all that, whether in reality or just how they're perceived because of the media, because of the movies and TV shows and all that we've watched. So I would say watch The Wire, watch The Shield. If you like a more vintage take, watch some Hill Street Blues.
Love that series back in the day.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was the first really like hardcore, like serious cop show that wasn't just goofy as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, so other inspiration I'm gonna try to pull from is Bosch. I know that's a Prime, Amazon Prime series, but
it's good. I like
yeah.
it. It's good to draw from. There's a Idris Elba
Luther.
show, and I can't. Luther, that's a
Yeah.
good one.
True Detective.
True Detective's fantastic. I've loved every single season of that show. I think it's the best performance. Like everybody involved in it, I think that's the best performance they've ever given in their career. Woody Harrelson, Matthew McConaughey, Colin Farrell. Everybody gives his arc shit, but I loved it from start to finish.
Yeah, people
When
didn't
he
like that
goes,
series. I'm like, oh my god, that series. That all of them are
when
great.
he goes the kids, like there's the kid who's bullying his son, and he goes up and confronts the dad, and then just beats the shit out of him in front of the dude's kid.
Yeah.
Like, holy fucking shit, that dude's got some serious fucking problem. The third series, which takes place in my neck of the woods, like I actually recognized a lot of the places they went to in Northwest Arkansas in the Ozarks.
Yeah.
I mean, that was. I think I might actually like that one every bit as much as the original arc. And the fourth series, it's definitely the best performance by Jodie Foster, and I'm a fan of Jodie Foster. But like she goes all in on the role, and it's a fantastic story. Although it skirts the line between is the supernatural stuff real, or is it just like some shit people are perceiving?
Yeah.
In this one, it kind of goes over the line.
It does.
I can still forgive it because it's so very fucking good, and it's a brief plot point, but it's there, and it's.
Well, I think because they brought in Carcosa, right, in the first series, and then the third series, and talked about Carcosa, and that. For those who don't know,
they're all connected.
Carcosa is a city from a book called The Yellow King, and it is tied into kind of the Lovecraftian mythos, and is kind of like that weird bizarreness, weird fiction actually. So
there's like a weird cult undercurrent that connects all the various series or seasons.
Oh, the fourth series where they're thawing the guy out. Oh my god,
oh my god! Holy fucking shit! That was it. It's so very good, and it's like I don't think enough people talk about how good it is.
I got to do like a cryo tank of like a bunch of people, and the team comes in.
Yeah, totally use that because like nobody talks about the fourth season. I've never heard anybody, unless I bring it up, I've never heard anybody talk about it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people thought it was garbage.
So the chance of your players having seen that scene is pretty low.
Yeah.
You can get away with using it.
The other series, I think, is Almost Human, and trying to pull some elements from that, because that is a cop cyberpunk series, you know?
I wanted that. I wanted a second season of that so bad.
Yeah.
I'm so mad. I want Carl Urban in cyberpunk roles all the time, every day.
He's trying his best, man.
I want a new Dredd movie so bad it hurts. I think it's a goddamn crime against humanity that we didn't get a sequel to that.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love the boys, but I want him back in Cyberpunk roles.
Yeah, so those are the kind of TV series I was looking at, and
Check
then
out check out the show Dark Winds
okay,
on Netflix. It's on Netflix right now. I think it started off
yes,
on
about
a different
Indian
channel, but it's on
reservation.
Netflix. Yeah, it's about a tribal police chief on a Navajo reservation,
Yeah, I'll definitely check it
and
out.
it's fantastic. There's 3 seasons out now, and they're all good. Uh, they honestly they give kind of the True Detective vibe. It's just Native American centric. Um, I highly recommend it. It takes place in the 70s, so it's only cyberpunk adjacent in the noir sense that like if you're running a cop campaign, it's good stuff. There's another 70s show called Duster um, that was really fantastic too. Keith David's in it. It's just like 70s crime and muscle cars, though. It's not really anything I would necessarily base a game off of,
Right.
although you could very easily do so. I just it wouldn't be like you couldn't run it as a group type thing.
Right.
But it's a good show. You should watch it.
Yeah. So for like atmosphere, I was looking at like Blade Runner, Black Rain.
Black Rain
There's
is so fucking good.
yeah,
Again, Ridley Scott. Please don't ever let him go back and fuck up Black Rain, because that movie was like the perfect.
and because there might be a
Top.
Japanese corporation involved, I have to watch Rising Sun.
Ooh, I haven't seen that since the '90s, and I love that movie. I love the
Yeah.
book too.
Elements of Seven, right? Just to give the creepiness.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, Seven was definitely like the thematic inspiration behind the serial killer portions of the campaign, because Seven changed my life, dude. That movie is seriously disturbing to me.
yeah, yeah, it is. Um, what other movies? Like Copland for like the corruption of some of the
Copland's really good.
fellow officers that they'll encounter.
Yeah, the whole blue line bullshit. Man, that movie is so underrated. Um, Everybody likes to pretend that Sylvester Stallone can't act because he chooses to do a bunch of dumb action movies, but if that's what you think, you need to see Copland, because
Yeah,
it's really, really, really good.
there's another.
Harvey Keitel, Robert De Niro.
Yep.
I mean, just everybody's in the movie.
Yeah, Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta, Michael Rappaport. Um,
Yeah, so that's kind of like elements of
Kino.
like of corruption. Then I was also looking at. I just started watching again because it's a cyberpunk movie, and I think it's interesting for a surveillance point of view. Is Anon? It's a little lesser known. It's on Netflix,
Hmm.
but basically it's a world in where everyone can have their memory audited. So
Oh, I didn't
crime
see
doesn't.
that.
Yeah. It's with Luke Owens. No, something Owens or Owen. Oh, what the hell is his?
Owen Wilson,
No, he was in Children of Men. Man,
Clive Owen.
Clive Owen. Yeah, he's in it.
Yeah, also in Hardware.
Yeah. Um.
You got a
But
long history of cyberpunk.
yeah, so that series is basically, like I said, it's a murder mystery, right? In which the murderer, kind of like Strange Days, in which
Ooh,
the people
yeah.
get hacked, and they're seeing the killer from the killer's point of view. So
Mm-hmm.
the because the audit the memory, they can look at people anytime a person gets downloaded, right? And so there's a hacker who kind of gets out of the system. but to me, it's a good sense of how to skirt around surveillance, especially if you're dealing with a cyberpunk world in which there is a lot of surveillance, and be able to give justification of why things aren't always there. And of course, for rating um, possible suspects or being able to get certain criminals, of course, you have to go with Dread and the Raid, right?
Yeah.
For the arcologies that are still in Night City, just because, you know. You got any other?
Get a good sense of like what your actual laws in Night City are, because in my Night City they're quite different from the laws in the book, and to the point where I've actually had people complain about it. In my Night City, lawyers are still a thing, trials are still a thing, because to me that's part of the fun of running a cop campaign is the whole, trial portion of it.
What do you mean he's getting off with the technicality?
Exactly. Gun laws. There are gun laws in my Night City. You can get a concealed carry license, but any type of fully automatic weapon, any explosives, anything military, considered military issue is definitely illegal for civilians to own. That's not saying you can't get shit on the black market. That's just saying if you get caught with it, you're fucked. I don't know. I didn't think we'd reach a point that we have here in Arkansas. You don't have to have a license to own a gun. You don't have to have a license to carry it. You can just buy a gun and do whatever you want with it. And the only time you would ever need a license is if you travel to another state that a license is required for registration.
Yes, they're such cowboys.
Yeah, it's freaking insane. There was literally a block from my house, like a week and a half ago, a little bit longer than that, a week and a half ago, a block from my house, not even a block, like literally the corner of my street, there's a coffee shop. And somebody, like, there was a road rage incident on the highway. One guy pulled into the parking lot. The other guy pulled in behind him and got out of the car and started walking up towards the car. And the dude got out and shot him. I heard the shots. It was like blah, 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 blah. It was like 8 shots in rapid succession. And the cops were there in like 2 minutes. It was like, I've never seen a response like that here. But like, that's just how things have changed. Like, nobody was freaking out. Like, everybody was just acting like it was normal because, hey, some dude just got shot down in the parking lot. Now I'm gonna go get my coffee. It's a really weird world that I can't believe. I when people were telling me that was gonna be like, even in fiction in the 90s, I couldn't believe that it would reach this. That it would, like, it didn't sound realistic to me in fiction, and now it's real world, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Next thing you know, there are going to be cops running around with like machine guns, like attached to the patrol cars, and Jesus Christ!
I love the comment. Did the coffee shop have donuts? Explains the quick response time.
No, but there is a Dunkin' Donuts across the street from it, so yeah. Almost, yeah. I hadn't thought about that until you put it in, but yeah, that's probably where they all were, was at the Dunkin' Donuts. It's actually a really good coffee shop too.
Yeah. Anyways,
if you like paying like $10 for a cup of coffee, but
Yeah, so
uh,
yeah, I mean the laws, yeah, have to be a little more fluid, and I probably will have to write some of them down to be a little more specific.
yeah, I mean, you
Um,
don't have to go into like minutia or anything, but like the laws in Cyberpunk in Night City are kind of scattered all over the place. You can find, and some of them contradict each other. Like there's mentions in I can't think of any specifics off the top of my head, but in Home of the Brave, they mention some laws that contradict the stuff in Night City, and in the core rule book contradicts them both. Um, I don't know. I think they should have dedicated a section, a larger portion of Protect and Serve to like really laying out what laws are in effect and all that. I know they did. There was like but it felt really brief and kind of vague in a lot of areas. And then
yeah,
other areas I just didn't agree with because I couldn't imagine the world ending up in that kind of position. I couldn't imagine citizens allowing it. Well, and then real life happened, and I'm just like, well, fuck, I was wrong. I admit I was wrong. I'm. I had way too much hope and faith in humanity.
yeah,
Apparently,
yeah. Well, I think all of us do, but you never know, right? It's roller coaster life is, and downs. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, taking a look at the laws, and that's kind of the one thing that I think is going to be a challenge for a cop campaign is if you have gang activity and you are trying to kind of find out information from the gang,
mm.
what is the likelihood of a gang talking to the cops, right? Um, or being
there are
associated with
lots of
them.
ways to handle that. Um, if you confront a gang as a group, they're almost universally gonna tell the cops to go fuck themselves. Um, but if you can flip somebody inside the gang to act as an informer, and he may not be, he most likely wouldn't be informing on his own gang, but he might be like letting the cops letting if the cop has something on him or can provide something he needs, he may start letting the cop in on some shit that's happening with other gangs. Hell, just as a method to get the other gangs cleared out without them having to do any of the work. Um, Otherwise, if you get somebody alone and you make a high enough, skill check on persuasion, fast talk, or empathy, um, you might convince somebody that hey, it's the right thing. Like we're the only ones who can save this dude's life, your brother's life, or we're the only ones who really care that this girl got murdered, and we're gonna find the people who did it. Like you can talk to him through that. But
Yeah,
if you anytime you're gonna confront them in a group, unless it's like a ridiculously rare occasion, the group isn't gonna cooperate with you at all. Even if one or two of the members would be inclined to, they're not going to do it in front of the rest of the gang. Um, and that's the same with any criminal element, really. If you go up and start talking to a group of hookers on the street, well, they're not going to say anything in front of the other hookers because then
yeah,
it'll get back to the pimp and blah blah. But if you can catch her alone, you may be able to convince her. And that whole thing comes down to you have to have something they want or
right,
something they need.
right, and that's I think a trope in a lot of cop stories, right? Is you often see a cop, often they've lost their badge already,
Mm-hmm.
talking to the criminal elements or the leaders of organized crime or whatever to kind of get their buy-in to go after one of their own, right?
Yeah.
And trying to set that up, that work.
I mean, there are so many good sources to choose that kind of theme from, and kind of crib little bits and pieces. Training Day, when they've got the dude, the gang is Denzel has left his partner in the hands of a gang who have been ordered to take him out. And as they're getting ready to, like, as they've got him in the bathtub and they're getting ready to kill him,
Yeah.
uh, they find the dude's niece's uh, ID on him because he tried to help her, and that saves his fucking life.
Yeah.
And you can, like, it doesn't have to be, you don't steal that directly, but you can find some connection, and like sometimes that connection is all that's wanted or needed to make the change. And I think that's the real beauty of playing a cop character and interacting with people, is getting them to look past the badge and see the character as a human being, who's either trying to help or hurt them. Because I mean, there are as many dirty cops are a thing. It's,
Yep.
I mean, my opinion on dirty cops is, and clean cops is probably not something people want to hear. But yeah, dirty cops are a thing, and there's nothing to say that your characters aren't going to play dirty cops. Those can be some of the better games. I mean, if your characters watch The Shield, or your players watch The Shield, you're going to get some dirty ass cops.
Yep. Well, like I said, Copland, and even go
God
up
damn
to
shit.
the Bad Lieutenant, right?
Dude, if they're watching Bad Lieutenant, you better take some ibuprofen before you start playing that game, and keep something soft and cuddly next to you, because they're going to fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bad Lieutenant is, especially the original with Harvey Keitel, that is a hard watch.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely got, like, The Wire kind of like as a mindset because of the task force type of mentality and pulling in different people from different elements. That's one way you can get your players together, right? So if someone says, "Oh, like my players," right? So one of my players immediately wanted to be a forensic expert or part of a forensics team, a technician. Another player wanted to be a rookie cop, so a patrol cop, right? Who's a rookie. The next player wanted to be a med tech, which I'm still trying to figure out how his role is going to play into this.
I mean, I would just make him a member of C-SWAT as the team medic.
True. Yeah.
I mean,
right.
somebody's got to be there with some type of medical training.
Yeah, and then I have two more players. One of them
for
hasn't
an EMS.
Yeah, one of the players hasn't given me their idea, but the other player wants to be IA. So I'm like, okay, then you're going to be the main detective, because right now there's no main detective, and so it's going to be interesting to kind of create that. So because
with an IA in the team and without an actual like ranking officer, like a detective, it's going to have to be. They're going to have to be looking into dirty cops, and they're going to be on the outs with the rest of the department. Like, nobody's going to want to talk to them. Nobody's going to want to work with them. Nobody's going to trust them.
The IA, I haven't decided quite. I mean, I have an idea of how to get that person involved.
The hardest one, in my opinion, to get involved with what's going on right now would be the guy who wants to be a forensic investigator.
Oh no, I definitely have tons of ideas for that, because
I'm not saying that there's not plenty of room for forensics. I'm saying for him to be running around with the rest of the group, like that would be the hard one to reconcile in my head. Like, who who takes the forensics guy into the gang territory. Um,
Well,
I mean,
there,
I know a lot of people watch NCIS and all that, but that's just not how shit works.
right, I get that. That's how it's going to have to work in this game, right?
Sure, sure.
And of
I
course,
mean,
there's
don't
going to
get
be
me wrong. I'm all about cinematic realism in my games. I'm all about that. Like if you
right.
shoot a car's gas tank, that shit's gonna explode. Like that's just cinematic realism. Doesn't have to be perfectly realistic. It just has to be cinematically realistic.
Right. And as a cop game, right, you're not going to have all six people interviewing suspects or following up on leads, right? They're either going to pair off and go off and do something. So to make sure that there is something for the forensic person to do along with one of the other members to go and follow up with something, right? And I think that's kind of like one of the concepts I think that's going to be a little different than most groups is the splitting up the party, right? I think in a cap campaign
Yeah,
that's necessary. Well, other than doing like a
if you're
raid, right?
running, yeah, I mean, if you're running a cop campaign with that many players, it's going to be necessary. There's going to be some splitting up. There's going to be hell. I would suggest like side story missions where you just like pick a different day of the week or something and run somebody on some shit by themselves.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I know it's going to be tough. We're not young anymore. We don't have the kind of time we used to, but back in the day, that is how I did it.
Yeah.
Is I would run basically any night of the week that anybody wanted to play Cyberpunk. I was down to play Cyberpunk, and if I could tie it into other games, that was awesome.
Yeah, I think I have to come
I
up with
miss those
something to
days.
keep them busy. The rest of the group busy
8
while I
hour
deal with that. And yeah,
play
I mean,
sessions, Perkins.
it's definitely going to run into the whole reason why people don't use netrunners, right? Is you're going to have a bunch of your players just sitting out waiting. And honestly, if you watch like live plays, that's what a lot of these live plays do, right? There's one or two players that role play together for like
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes. Then they cut over to the other two players and they just sit there silently. I think that's one of the problems that you would have prior to mobile phones was players would just start talking amongst themselves, right? Now you kind of have a distraction. Okay, you know, go read up on Reddit or play your your video game on your phone. While you deal with this, and then
Yeah,
you can tune back in once we're done. And of course, you definitely want to like cut between players and players, right? And try to make it. I'm going to try to make it dramatic, right? That a clue is revolved or is revealed to this one group. Let's cut over immediately to the other group and what they're doing, right? So the other group, the other players who you now interact with are like, wait, no, I want to find out more about that. Well, nope, we're gonna move this
we're
story
moving
along.
on.
Yeah. So it kind of catches your players off their feet, right, a little, and it often leads pretty interesting role playing, right? So yeah, that's kind of like where I'm heading with hops. Yeah, and of course there's going to be corruption. There's going to be a corporation, several corporations involved, who are also going to be involved with possible meddling, uh, and then setting up the other criminal elements in the crime organizations that also will be involved with this. I don't plan on having this have the fourth corporate war as a backdrop. I have done that
No.
in recent campaigns, but I don't think this campaign is going to be good. I'm sure that he dealing with a lot of crime.
Yeah, yeah. I unless you're taking part in the war, like the background stuff that's happening in this city, would be so hard to run with all that. Like any war, if you're running a game that's not based on the war, uh, I don't know. It just leaves everything like it would be difficult. I'll just say that it would introduce so many variables that keeping a consistent mood would be very, very difficult.
Right. Yeah, and then once getting the perp, I think that is a challenge, especially with role-playing games, that not a lot of players want to let the enemy live. Right.
Yeah, that's a hard habit to break people of.
Because I was in a one shot, and there was a criminal we were hunting down, and my character was like, "We need to take them to justice." And I'm like, "No, we got to kill him." I'm like, "No, he's a criminal," and I'm of course was playing a good alignment. Like, no, he's gotta be brought to justice. And they're like, "No, he just to die." Wow. Like, how do you get the players out of that? And yeah, I think one of the things that players do and kill those characters is because they don't want to have to deal with them in the future, right? Because there's always that trope of the criminal escaping and getting back on the streets, which of course often leads to the next time they get killed, right?
Yeah.
Because I was watching, like I said, I was watching Black Rain. How that criminal escaped once, wasn't killed, and didn't at the end look like Michael Douglas was about to kill Sato, but instead you see him bringing Sato into the halls of justice and doing the right thing.
Or for that matter, New Jack City.
Yeah.
Ice-T's bringing in Wesley Snipes, but before that, he's beating the shit out of him at the bottom of the stairway, and he's all like, "I want to kill you so bad, my dick is hard." What a great line!
Yeah, I forgot about that movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, I gotta get Pookie as an NPC.
Yep. And it had, I mean, the Carter was basically like, it would not surprise me to hear that the Carter was inspiration for the raid.
Right. Yeah,
or for any arcology that has gone to shit.
Well, you have that one city in China, just skyscrapers, not city.
Oh,
but,
Kowloon?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Does Kowloon predate the raid?
Oh yeah, it predates all that shit. In fact, Kowloon was long demolished before the raid came out.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely the inspiration for both the raid as well as going as far back as Judge Dredd's mega buildings in the first place.
Definitely. So we got about 15 more minutes. What else do you think kind of would make a good cop game? I mean, I definitely have the various police chiefs who are going to get involved and give stern talking to players.
With as weird a mix as you've got, you could really turn to some of the you could do some NCIS type stuff where, like, just people who wouldn't normally be working together in that capacity on an investigation suddenly somehow are. Suddenly somehow the forensic investigator is now like walking around with a gun on his hip, taking out, like, going into the crack houses to investigate whatever.
Yeah, I made it a point never to watch NCS or NCIS.
They're all horrible.
or Law and Order. I've
I
avoided
had to
them.
watch Law and Order because my brother watched it 24 hours a day almost for a while.
Well, it was on 24 hours a day. So
Yeah, it was just if he was watching, if he had the TV first, that was what was on. So I've seen all of the original series, I would say, and most of Special Victims Unit up until like 6, 7 years ago. Uh, I wanted to watch the one with Vincent D'Onofrio, but he was phoning it in so hard you could see his eyes like reading the script on the page in front of him than when he was sitting at a desk or something. Like it was bad. You could tell he hated every minute of it. Um, the his performance in that, as opposed to like his performance as Kingpin, is just it's night and day. It's like somebody flipped on a switch and suddenly he can act again. Um, but yeah, you can go through to those some of those type shows and crib from them, at least as far as how the team dynamic works, because that's going to be at the beginning of your game. That's going to be the hardest thing. Is those guys are so different that getting their dynamic to work together will be difficult. My
yeah,
suggestion for the rookie is have him be the first on scene to whatever like you said,
brother, we're of the
like the
same
first,
mind.
yeah, the first victim they find is a cop. Let him be the guy who's first on the scene for that, and then let him like encounter something in there that would have him promoted to be working with the team.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
the rest you could kind of finagle in there, and I can see how you could do that in various ways. And if you ever want advice or to run ideas by me, I'm always available and happy to do that shit. That goes for everybody out there in TV land too. If you got something you want to run by somebody, run it by me. I love talking this shit. Um, you've got a guy who still hasn't turned in their character concept, and I'm very curious to hear what that's going to be, because so far everybody's gotten weird with it.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
not to if the player does the IA player spoils it. Basically, the murder, because at first I didn't wasn't gonna have this, but to get the IA person involved is, you know, the murder scene. There's gonna be a cop dead, right? And
oh,
he
there you
was
go.
a
That'll
person
do
of
it.
interest. Yeah, and he was a person of interest for the IA guy. Um, so the murder is
Yeah,
there's
that beats
several
my
people
idea of
murdered,
having.
right?
Yeah,
It's
it
not
got
just
to
one
be
person.
like investigating somebody in the group, but without an actual detective, you're gonna like you said, he's gonna have to become the team leader, as it were, the primary investigator,
Yeah,
because he would be the only one with the chops and authority to do so.
exactly. Being an investigator, being a detective, right?
hmm
Forensics is not a detective. MedTech is not a
No,
detective, and the
and they're
rookie's
not
not going
letting
to
a
be a
rookie.
detective.
No, so you need somebody. So unless that fourth, or unless the person who hasn't turned in a concept yet comes in with a detective character, it's going to have to be him.
Yeah. Although it'd be funny if he turns in like a tactical
I was going to say
SWAT
you're gonna get
or
somebody
C
who wants
SWAT.
to play a C SWAT member who pilots one of the police powered armor. That's what's going to happen, and you're going to have to work that shit in. Like, good luck. I know how hard that is because I've had to deal with that shit. It ain't fun. Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, he might be a detective in the future, right? So, concept of this
Yeah, I
campaign,
mean,
I don't know how long
there's
it's
no
going to
telling.
last. I'm hoping for at least a year, if not more. My last campaign was almost 3 years. Campaign before that was two, I think, two and a half.
Did the space campaign last? The High Rider campaign last 3 years?
Yeah,
Man, I
almost
wish I
three
was involved.
years.
Jealous. Anyway,
Yeah,
um,
we can check out some of it. I have a world anvil that I created for my Cyberpunk campaigns.
I mean, I have checked it out. It's awesome.
There you go. So
Uh, and this is going to be like a live, like in-person type game. Yes.
yes, I'm afraid we play it in my
Hey,
dining
nothing
room
to be
table.
afraid of. That's the preferred way of playing any game, as far as
Yeah,
I'm
well,
concerned.
you got to move up to Connecticut, man.
Just for the pizza.
Yeah, definitely. Come up for the pizza. Um, you'll have
It's
an
funny. I know
amount
so
of
many people in
choice.
Connecticut, and none of you know each other, but I know so many people there. It's not even funny. Just all online people I've met that somehow think I'm cool. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think maybe
it's
this might be
interesting.
something in the water there.
And they're all cyberpunk people?
No,
Oh.
like three different people from GTA, a couple of
Ah.
people that I met through Fallout, and then like three or four of you from Cyberpunk. Like it's just a whole gang of Connecticut motherfuckers.
Yeah, we're everywhere. We're a small state, but we try to
And
put
all
our
of you won't
fingers in
shut
every
up about how
pie.
good your pizza is. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, we also are also claimed to fame as we are the birthplace of the hamburger, though that has been challenged. Um,
I mean, that
yeah,
would be a hard thing to prove.
well, the place has been there since God knows how long, and still
Just
serving
saying, to claim
hamburgers.
that you are the first people to take a patty of ground beef and put it on two pieces of bread. I don't know. I'd be willing to bet that it's older than the United States.
Maybe I'm thinking of a hot dog. Either a hot dog or a hamburger.
Hot dog, I could fucking believe because we're gonna get a tube of lips and assholes and feed it to people. That is an American thing. Now I want a hot dog.
Hamburgers. Origin of the hamburger, basic bread and beef,
Yeah,
have been prepared and consumed for many years in many countries prior to their combination. However, after various controversies in the 20th century, including a nutritional controversy in the 90s, burger is now readily identified with the United States, as well as a particular American scene, namely fast food, along with fried chicken and apple pie.
I mean, if you really press me, the hamburger is America's greatest contribution to world cuisine. Probably followed by fried chicken in all its various forms. But yeah, I love me a good hamburger.
First meat grinder. Got grinders, hoagies, and. However, I have to say, Connecticut is also the birthplace of the hot lobster roll. That is superior lobster roll.
I've never had a lobster roll, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
But I've never lived on the East Coast.
Ah.
And
Yes.
and when I lived on the coast, when I lived in Alaska, or even Mississippi for that matter, the only thing I ever wanted to do with lobster was dip it in butter and eat it that way. Like a boiled lobster dipped in butter, eat it.
Yeah. So that's
Same with crab.
a hot lobster roll. So there's two types of hot roll: cold and hot. And cold is basically po boy. Damn, man. Um, yeah, we'll end this. We'll end our conversation with food. Um, so the cold lobster roll came from north, like Maine and Massachusetts. Basically, what it is like a kind of a salad, right? Mayonnaise, lobster meat, uh, maybe some celery. Kind of like tuna fish salad, right? But you use lobster instead. A hot lobster roll is basically boiled lobster cut up into little pieces and thrown on a bun and drenched in butter.
I could eat that. I could eat that right now, and I'm
Yeah.
mad at you for putting that in my head. I could have lived without that knowledge
Yeah. There's this one place
and
that
and,
was
and been happy. Now I will not be satisfied until I have one of these.
one place over, I don't know, it's made it, and the bread was just so soaked and toasted.
Okay, we need to end the show now because you need to shut the fuck up. Um,
Yeah. All right.
Jesus, now I'm so hungry for some lobster. And yes, Jesus, I have had a good shrimp po' boy when I lived in Mississippi. That was my jam. I don't remember the place I used to go to, but it was just this little shack off the coast, like off the beach. And Jesus Christ, like, that's one of the few reasons I would ever go back.
Yeah, the
I
Delta
lived in
man food down there,
I lived in
fucking
Biloxi,
amazing.
so actually I lived in Ocean Springs, which is next to Biloxi. It's like a suburb of Biloxi. But
So, anyways, yeah, so that's
hot
our show.
dog lobster, the fuck, bastards.
It is delicious. Hot dog, lobster. Well, dog lobster. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um. Anyways, so that's kind of our show. A little bit about the cops, my plans for a cop adventure.
Pretty far from Cyberpunk by the end there.
Yeah,
But
well, we ramble. We didn't have a set of ideas of where we were going with this. So I hope you
no,
enjoyed
no.
it. So I'm Cyber Smiley. You can check me out on cybersmiley.net. I'm also on various discords. Oh, by the way, a new West March Discord is kind of reformed. It's called American Nightmare. I think I got it
You're talking
right.
about the one
America's
that you
Midnight.
posted
Yeah.
up at, yeah, on your Discord.
Yeah, there's some good
Yeah,
people
that
over
looks
there.
pretty good. There's some very good people involved
Yeah,
in that.
so if you're looking to play, there you go. Derek, is go join there and
I may
play
do so.
play by post and play by voice. Yeah, so like I said, I'm in a lot of the various Cyberpunk discords, either 2020 Red, even 2077. So post a lot. My site has a bunch of tools for Cyberpunk 2020, Cyberpunk Red, as well as an army builder for Combat Zone, the miniature game. I'm also hang out in various threads for Cyberpunk on Reddit, kind of up with all that, and also I'm on Blue Sky as well for right now. Not Blue Sky is not like it's a better community than Twitter. Over to you.
All right, I am Wisdom 000, aka Derek Bernier. I run DataFortress2020.com, the largest and most comprehensive cyberpunk site on the planet, and it was just updated, as I said earlier in the show. Just a ridiculous number of fan created files have made it to the archive. 10 years worth of me hoarding them. I also updated the links, so the hyperlinks page now once again has all the active cyberpunk sites that I'm aware of. And sadly, we had to say goodbye to some of the greatest ones. But that's a discussion in and of itself.
Yep.
You can find me on Facebook at the Data Fortress 2020 group, where I obviously am owner. I'm also an admin mod, I forget, at the Cyberpunk 2020 group and the Cybernation Uncensored group. I'm on Reddit on the Cyberpunk 2020, Cyberpunk Red, and Cyberpunk Game channels or threads, whatever they call Reddit stuff. I'm on Blue Sky, although I don't do much with it. Every now and then I'll post an announcement, but it just is what it is. There's too much. I'm on a Discord at almost all the Cyberpunk franchise stuff. Mostly active in the Cyberpunk 2020 /Red group, and of course Cyber Smiley's group. That's where I am active the most. I had to join both Reddit or both Instagram and Twitter just to track down people for the updates. But if you see my name, I'll warn you now. I don't really check it, especially now that I've gotten the information from people that I think I'm going to get the information from. So yeah. But if you need to reach us through any of those means, but you can. And we love to hear from you. We love your comments, your criticisms, your questions, your complaints, anything you got. If you have a suggestion for the show, if you have a lead on somebody we might like to interview, we'd love to hear that. If you just want to talk Cyberpunk with us, throw us a message. We'll talk Cyberpunk back to you because we love that shit. Obviously, we do this show where we do nothing but rant all the time. We'd like to thank Cybernation Uncensored for hosting us. We'd like to thank you guys for joining us and listening in, both the live studio audience and the viewers at home as we get syndicated through YouTube and whatnot. Thank you so very much, and we'll see you again the first Wednesday of December, which
is the 3rd. And that's going to be our last show for the year. So we're going to do a year in review on the 3rd.
Yeah.
And then we'll be taking a break for a little while, and then we'll be back next year.
Indeed.
All right. All right, everyone.
Goodbye, everybody.
Have a good
Sleep
one.
well.
Cybernation Uncensored.